Loading scripts in WordPress is a bit different than doing so in HTML, for example. And even though it's technically possible, I guess, to include them the same way, it's not correct. It's not the correct way of doing it. So in this lesson, you're going to learn what is the correct way of loading JavaScript and CSS inside WordPress. So let's begin. The proper way of loading scripts in WordPress is to use the WP register script and WP enqueue script functions. Now, we need to place those in functions.php. So let's go ahead and create yet another custom function here. We'll say 6 scripts, and then this function here will be called tuts scripts. And this will actually be tied to WP enqueue scripts function. So whenever WordPress adds scripts, we'll just pass in our own function so we can load our own scripts. Now let's have a look at Corey's code and see what script he's loading there. Now in the head of the document, Corey is loading Modernizer, and he's loading the Bootstrap CSS and his own style.css. In the footer, he's loading jQuery, Bootstrap Js, and Isotope JS, as well as plugins and main. Now, I've already copied the required CSS here, Bower components, and the JS folder in our theme folder. So now what we need to do is load them properly. First of all, let's start with the scripts. And the first thing we do is we need to register them. We do that with the WP register script function. Now this takes several parameters. First, it takes a handle or an ID. Let's start with Modernizer. The ID we're going to give it here is Modernizer JS. The second parameter is the path to the file. In our case, it's going to be JS. So we're using the constant we defined at the top of this file, JS/vendor Modernizer. So we're basically getting this bit. Modernizer. Oops, I didn't write this correctly. The next one, which is optional, is the dependencies. So if this script depends on other scripts to run, then we should list them here. Modernizer doesn't, so we'll just say false. The next one is for version. We'll just say false. And the next one is for in footer. That means if we want the script to load in the footer instead of in the head. And in this case, we actually put false because Modernizer needs to load at the very top. Next up, let's load the Bootstrap JS. So Bootstrap JS will actually be in the Bower components folder. So it's going to be theme root/Bower components and the rest of the path. Bootstrap actually depends on jQuery. So we're going to do array jQuery here, and then false, and then true. True means we're going to put this script in the footer. Now you might ask yourself, well, you're loading Bootstrap and you're saying it needs jQuery, but you're not loading jQuery before that. That's true because WordPress already loads jQuery for you. So loading jQuery again is not recommended. So you can just skip loading jQuery entirely. In fact, you don't even need that little bit right there. So you can just delete it. The next script is Isotope JS. This was also placed in the footer. So we'll load it like this. False, false, true to position it in the footer. The final two scripts we need to load are plugins and main.js. And we register them the same way and we place them in the footer. Now that we registered scripts, we need to load them. To do that, we're going to use the function WP enqueue script. Script, not scripts, like we did here. And to that, we just pass in a single parameter, which is the handle we applied here when we registered those scripts. So we'll do the same for the rest. Finally, with the scripts loaded, we just need to load the style sheets. And for that, we need to use the function WP enqueue style. Again, we're gonna give this a handle or an ID, for example, Bootstrap CSS, and then the path to that file. In my case, it's theme root, Bower components, Bootstrap min CSS. And then we'll do the same with the main CSS, which is in the CSS folder style.css. Now, do not confuse this style CSS with this style CSS. So this one right here is only responsible for providing theme information, theme details, while this one here is responsible for the CSS of the entire page. Now, you can name this one up here in any way you want, but this one in the root document needs to have this name. Now, let's do a refresh on our page and see if the scripts are loaded correctly. And there it is. So let's do a quick visual inspection here. Yeah, everything seems to be working just fine here. The links are okay. The layout is all right. Let's do a comparison to what we had before. So the blog page here and the blog page here. They all look almost the same, except a little inconsistency in the color of this link. Continue reading here. And also there's a little space missing right here. So let's see about that space first. I'm guessing it's just a matter of adding another space somewhere. Let's see, get post meta. So the space needs to be right before the date. So we got to put it here. That should do it. Okay, there it is. And about this link here, let's see, this link is inside the post excerpt container, and it's inside a paragraph. So let's actually have a look at the CSS here. Let's see, post excerpt, header, post meta. All right, so post excerpt, post meta a, and a hover. So all we got to do here is actually do a post excerpt a and a post excerpt a hover. All right. So now when we refresh this bit, the links are still blue on the out state, but the hover state seems all right. So let's see, a hover. Oh, sorry, forgot this. Refresh, and there it is. All right, so the scripts, let's see, seem to be loading just fine. Of course, we still need to test the JavaScript when we create the filterable portfolio, but from a CSS point of view, this looks just fine. That's it for loading scripts. Now, the next page on our list is the single post page. That's coming up next.